In the heart of West Africa, there is a small country with a big heart, Burkina Faso. For many years, this land was filled with struggles. The people were hardworking, full of hope, and full of dreams. But their daily lives were hard. There were not enough jobs. There was no electricity in many places. Roads were broken. Hospitals had no medicine. Farmers cried when the rain didn't fall. Teachers taught in classrooms made of mud, and many children stayed at home because their parents could not afford school. This was the story of Burkina Faso for a long time, but everything began to change in 2022. A young soldier named Captain Ibrahim Traoré stepped forward. He did not come to enjoy power. He came to change the country. He was only 34 years old, the youngest president in the world. Some people doubted him. Others feared he was too young. But President Traoré was not afraid. He had a dream to build a strong, independent, and peaceful nation, a Burkina Faso that stood tall on its own feet. He said something powerful. We will no longer beg. We will no longer borrow. We will build. We will work. We will rise. The people listened, and they believed. He created a big plan to transform Burkina Faso with 30 mega development projects that would touch every part of life: food, schools, roads, hospitals, energy, business, farming, and much more. Project 1, National Industrial Zone. Burkina Faso had always imported too many things: soap, clothes, furniture, and even school materials. This was not good for the economy. Every time the country imported something, money left the country. Jobs were lost. President Traoré wanted to change that. He said, we must produce what we use. We must sell what we make. He started building a huge national industrial zone in Ouagadougou, the capital city. It was designed to be a center for factories and local production. The zone included soap factories, textile and clothing centers, cement and paint production, printing presses for books, leather processing for shoes and bags. More than 20,000 young people have already found jobs in this zone. Many more are learning new skills like welding, sewing, operating machines, and running small factories. For the first time in many years, Made in Burkina Faso is becoming a proud label. Local products are now being sold in markets across West Africa. Project 2, Solar Energy for All. One of the biggest problems in Burkina Faso was lack of electricity. In many rural areas, families used candles or kerosene lamps at night. Hospitals used generators that often failed. Children could not read or do homework in the dark. President Traoré said, "No more darkness." He launched a massive solar energy project. Large solar farms were built in many regions like Kaya, Gawa, Dori, and Fadangorma. These solar panels collect energy from the sun and turn it into electricity. Now thousands of villages have light for the first time. Families can charge phones, shops can use fridges, clinics can run machines, children can study at night. The solar project also created jobs for youth who were trained to install and maintain solar systems. This project is clean, green, and cheap, perfect for a sunny country like Burkina Faso. Project 3, Smart Farming with Agrivoltaics. Farming is the heart of Burkina Faso's economy, but farmers suffer when there is no rain. Many plant crops and watch them die from heat or lack of water. They lose money. They lose hope. President Traoré introduced something new: agrivoltaic farming. This is a smart system where solar panels are placed over farms. These panels do two things. 1, provide shade for the crops. 2, create electricity to pump water for irrigation. With this system, farmers can now grow food even during the dry season. They are planting tomatoes, onions, maize, rice, and leafy vegetables all year round. Food is becoming cheaper. Markets are full. Hunger is going down. A farmer named Salif said, "I used to cry when the rain stopped. Now I smile because the sun gives me both water and power." Project 4, Free Maternity and Childcare. In the past, many women in Burkina Faso died while giving birth. Poor mothers gave birth at home on mats. Clinics had no tools. Babies died from simple infections. President Traoré said, "No woman should die while giving life." He made all maternity care free in public hospitals. He also made sure that every pregnant woman gets monthly health checkups, free delivery in hospitals, free baby clothes, diapers, and blankets, vaccines and food for babies. He built new health centers in rural areas so no woman has to walk far. He also trained thousands of midwives and placed them in villages. Now more mothers give birth safely, more babies survive. The smiles of mothers are returning. Project 5. Free education and school kits. Education is the key to every nation's success. But many children in Burkina Faso stayed at home because their parents couldn't pay school fees. Some who went to school had no shoes, no uniforms, and no books. President Traoré started a free education program. He built thousands of new classrooms. He hired and trained new teachers. He gave every child free school bag, books and pens, school uniforms and shoes, a hot meal every day. He also gave girls free sanitary pads to keep them in school during their periods. Now school attendance has doubled. Girls are staying in school. Children are learning. Dreams are coming alive. Project 6. Roads that connect people. Before, many villages were cut off. When it rained, roads turned to rivers. People used bicycles and donkeys to travel long distances. Pregnant women were carried in wheelbarrows to hospitals. Traoré began building over 1,000 kilometers of strong, smooth roads. These roads connect towns, villages, markets, and hospitals. For the first time, trucks reach deep villages. Goods move fast. Farmers sell crops easily. Children go to school without stress. He also installed solar streetlights along major roads to make travel safer at night. After launching strong projects in farming, health, education, energy, and jobs, President Ibrahim Traoré knew one thing clearly. If we cannot connect our people, we cannot grow our country. He understood that development is not just about having hospitals, schools, or farms. It is also about being able to reach them. It's about having smooth roads, safe airports, working trains, and modern cities that help people move, learn, and trade easily. Project 7. The 1,000-kilometer superhighway network. Before, many Burkina roads were dusty, broken, or blocked during the rainy season. People wasted hours moving from one town to another. Pregnant women couldn't reach hospitals. Farmers couldn't carry their crops to markets. Trucks got stuck. Buses overturned. President Traoré launched a bold solution called the 1,000-kilometer National Superhighway Project. He promised to connect every major region, from the north to the south and from the east to the west. This new road network includes wide, smooth, tarred highways, drainage systems to prevent flooding during rain, roadside solar lights for night safety, rest stops for travelers and transport workers, emergency centers every 100 kilometers for quick rescue. Some of the key highways under construction or completed include Ouagadougou to Bobo Dioulasso, Kaya to Dori, Tenkodogo to Fadangurma, Wahiguya to Djibo. These roads now cut travel time by half. They also reduce fuel cost, help move goods faster, and make the country safer. A taxi driver named Hamadou said, "Before, it took me 10 hours to carry passengers. Now I do it in 5 hours with less stress." Project 8. Repairing and expanding the national railway. Burkina Faso has a railway line that goes from Ouagadougou to Abidjan in Côte d'Ivoire. But for many years, it was old, slow, and broken down. President Traoré wanted to bring it back to life. He began the National Railway Rehabilitation and Expansion Project. This included repairing old rail tracks, buying new cargo and passenger trains, building train stations in new towns, connecting new routes to Mali and Niger, training young engineers and drivers. The goal is simple: move goods cheaper and faster, support local farmers and businesses, create jobs, strengthen trade across West Africa. Already, the railway is helping transport cotton, gold, onions, and cement from Burkina Faso to the ports in Abidjan. A young engineer named Alassane said, "My grandfather worked on the railway. Now I'm building it again for my country." Project 9. Modernizing Ouagadougou International Airport. The old airport in the capital city was small, crowded, and not modern. Travelers waited for hours. Foreign investors complained. Tourism suffered. President Traoré started the Ouagadougou International Airport Upgrade Project. Major changes include a new passenger terminal with more space, digital check-in, and faster immigration services. Modern toilets, air conditioning, and free Wi-Fi. A bigger cargo zone for exporting farm goods. Solar power systems to run 70% of airport electricity. Special lanes for local products marked Made in Burkina Faso. Now Burkina Faso can receive 3 million travelers each year. Before, it was less than 1 million. The new airport is helping export onions, grains, dried fish, shea butter, and textiles to other countries. The airport is not just for rich people. Many poor farmers are now able to send their produce abroad. Project 10. Rural roads and bridge construction. President Traoré knew that big highways alone were not enough. Many small villages still had no roads. People crossed rivers with wooden boats. School children walked through the bush. That's why he launched the Rural Roads and Bridges program. This project builds short roads that link rural areas to nearby towns, bridges over rivers and streams, culverts to stop flooding during rainy season. Already over 300 rural roads have been built. More than 80 new bridges have connected remote places that were cut off for decades. Women who used to walk 5 hours to the market can now ride motorcycles in 30 minutes. Ambulances now reach remote clinics. Teachers can go to schools far in the bush. A woman named Mama Lydia said, "We no longer carry our crops on our heads. Now we have trucks coming to our farms." Project 11. Building smart cities in Ouagadougou and Bobo Dioulasso. President Traoré said, Burkina Faso must not only grow farms and roads, we must grow cities of the future. He launched the Smart Cities Project, modern towns with clean energy, internet, jobs, and digital services. The first 2 smart cities are being built in Ouagadougou, capital city, Bobo Dioulasso, second largest city. Features include eco-friendly homes with solar power, fast internet zones and digital centers, online services, ID cards, business permits, taxes, electric buses for clean transportation, modern waste management and green parks. These cities help create digital jobs for the youth, website designers, IT support, digital farmers, and more. A young girl named Clarice said, "Before I sold water on the street. Now I work in a digital center helping people register for documents." Project 12. Building bus stations and transport hubs. Public transport in Burkina Faso was once disorganized. Buses left from dirty parks. People got robbed or cheated. Traoré wanted to fix that. He launched the National Bus Station and Transport Hub project. Now, new central bus stations are being built in Ouagadougou, Bobo Dioulasso, Farangourma, Koudougou, Tenkodogo. These stations include ticketing offices, clean waiting rooms, police and emergency response, parking for bikes, taxis, and cargo. He also supported women-led transport cooperatives, giving them small buses to run local routes. This created jobs and made public transport safer. Building roads, schools, and cities is good, but President Ibrahim Traoré knew that real development must touch the daily lives of the people. If the people do not have food, water, good health, and safety, then all other projects are useless. That is why he moved quickly to solve these 4 major problems: hunger, thirst, sickness, and insecurity. Project 13, National Food Security and Storage Program. Burkina Faso is a farming country, but because of poor rain, bad roads, and no storage, many crops used to rot after harvest. During the dry season or crisis, food became expensive. Families went hungry. President Traoré created the National Food Security and Storage Program to fix this. This project includes building food warehouses called granaries in every region, creating cold storage for perishable goods like onions, tomatoes, and fish, training farmers on how to preserve grains and dry vegetables, helping farmers sell directly to government and schools. Now, when farmers harvest, they don't lose their crops. The government buys some and keeps it in emergency food reserves for hard times. Today, even during poor harvest years, there is food available in most markets and the prices are better. Project 14, Community Rice and Maize Mills. Before, many farmers harvested crops like rice and maize, but they couldn't process them into clean food. They sold them raw for low prices. President Traoré launched the community milling centers in villages and towns. Each center includes a modern rice mill, a maize grinder, storage space, training for women and youth. Now farmers bring their harvests and get them processed locally. They sell ready-to-cook rice and maize flour, earning more money. Many women's groups are running the mills. They use the income to support their families and send children to school. A woman in Kupala said, "Before, we begged middlemen to buy our rice. Now they come to us. We are the bosses." Project 15. Solar-powered boreholes for clean water. In many parts of Burkina Faso, people walked hours every day to fetch water from rivers or dirty ponds. Some drank water filled with worms and bacteria. Children fell sick. Women wasted energy. Traoré said, "Water is life. Every Burkinabe must have clean water." He launched the Solar Borehole Project, building thousands of deep water wells powered by sunlight. These boreholes have taps, storage tanks, filtration systems, drainage to prevent flooding. They are placed in villages, schools, health centers, and markets. Now people fetch water just meters from their homes. Children stop missing school. Diseases like diarrhea are reducing. The water is free and fresh. A student named Zainab said, "I used to carry water on my head every morning. Now I drink clean water at school and focus on learning." Project 16. Mobile health clinics for remote villages. In the past, many rural areas had no hospitals or clinics. People died from small sicknesses. Pregnant women had no help. Children never saw doctors. To help, President Traoré introduced mobile health clinics. These are special vans and trucks turned into hospitals. They travel every day to visit small villages, farming camps, nomadic communities. Each mobile clinic has a nurse, a midwife, a health educator, basic medicines and equipment. They provide vaccines, health checks, pregnancy care, malaria treatment, education on hygiene and nutrition. These clinics now serve over 1 million people who used to have no access to health services. Project 17. Burkina Faso National Greenbelt Project. Burkina Faso is affected by desertification. The land is becoming dry, trees are dying, sand is taking over. This hurts farming, water, and the environment. Traoré created the Greenbelt Project to bring back trees and life. This project plants fruit trees, shade trees, fast-growing trees to stop desert wind. Trees are planted along roads, in schools and farms, and near rivers. They protect the soil, give fruit and firewood, keep the land cool, attract rain. Over 10 million trees have been planted already. Schools are given tree kits so children can grow and care for a tree from childhood. It's more than farming. It's about teaching love for nature. Project 18. Defense Technology and Border Safety Program. Burkina Faso has been fighting terrorist attacks and insecurity for many years, especially in the north and east. Traoré made national security a top priority. He launched the Defense Technology and Border Safety Program. This included equipping the army with drones, night cameras, and satellite tracking, building military barracks closer to border zones, training community defense volunteers, VDPs, launching radio stations to warn and inform citizens during attacks. He also created safe zones for displaced families and improved coordination with Mali and Niger under the alliance of Sahel states. Today, many former dangerous areas are slowly becoming safe again. Farmers are returning, children are going back to school, hope is rising. A volunteer defender said, "We now have the tools to protect our people. We are no longer afraid." President Ibrahim Traoré often says, "It is not the government that builds a country, it is the people." He believes in giving people the tools, training, and support they need to succeed, especially the youth who are the future, and the women who carry families on their backs, and the small business owners who work every day in markets, shops, and on the street. Project 19. Youth Innovation and Technical Skills Centers. Many young people in Burkina Faso finish school but cannot find jobs. Some drop out early. Others have no skills. Many dream of traveling abroad because they don't see hope at home. President Traoré launched a big solution, the Youth Innovation and Skills Program. He built skills centers in every region. These are places where young people learn carpentry, tailoring, solar panel installation, plumbing, welding, bricklaying, computer repair, coding and programming. They don't just learn, they also get certificates, startup kits, and sometimes small grants to open their own workshops. One youth named Adama said, "I used to sit at home doing nothing. Now I fix computers and teach others. I earn money every day." These centers are helping thousands of youth turn their energy into business and success. Project 20, National Women Empowerment Fund. In Burkina Faso, women work very hard, in farms, markets, kitchens, and shops, but most don't have access to money, loans, or training. Many are poor, even though they work every day. Traoré said, "A country that does not support its women will never grow strong." He created the National Women Empowerment Fund to give small loans to women to start businesses, train them in money management, leadership, and marketing, support women cooperatives in agriculture, food processing, and textile making. Thousands of women have received 10,000 to 200,000 CFA francs to start. Soap making, bread baking, poultry farms, tailoring shops, vegetable stalls. They repay slowly with little interest. Many use the money to send their children to school and improve their homes. A woman named Mariam in Bobo Dioulasso said, "No one ever gave me a chance. Now I run a soap business with 12 workers." Project 21, Market Modernization and Street Vendor Support. Markets are the heart of every African city, but in Burkina Faso, many markets were dirty, unsafe, and lacked toilets, water, or lights. Street vendors had no shelters and were often chased away. President Traoré launched the Clean Market program to improve local trade. He did the following: rebuilt markets with strong roofs, clean floors, and solar lighting. Added public toilets, water taps, and waste bins. Created shade structures for street vendors. Introduced digital tools for managing market fees and security. This helped traders sell better and made markets safer for buyers. A tomato seller named Fatoumata said, "Before the sun and rain punished us. Now we have shelter, clean space, and toilets. We sell more, and we feel proud." Project 22, Business Formalization and Tax Relief for Small Traders. Many people in Burkina Faso do business, but not all are registered. Because of this, they cannot access loans, business support, or contracts. President Traoré wanted to fix this. He created the Small Business Registration Campaign. It helps market traders, tailors, bike repairers, welders, farmers, online sellers. They can now register their business for free or low cost and receive a business ID. He also introduced temporary tax breaks for small businesses, giving them time to grow before paying full taxes. Now, many small businesses are official. They can get loans, join cooperatives, and apply for government jobs. One shoemaker named Sylvain said, "I was just a roadside cobbler. Now I have a registered brand. I feel like a businessman." Project 23, Inclusive Support for People with Disabilities. For too long, people with disabilities in Burkina Faso were forgotten. Many could not find work. Some had no wheelchairs or tools. Others faced discrimination. President Traoré said, "Every citizen must be respected. Disability is not inability." He created the Inclusive Development Program to provide wheelchairs, white canes, and hearing aids, train people with disabilities in useful skills, offer priority access to jobs and public projects, support disability cooperatives making bags, soap, or furniture. He also ensured that new buildings like schools, markets, and offices include ramps and accessible toilets. Today, thousands of people with disabilities are working, earning money, and being treated with respect. Project 24, Digital Economy and Local Tech Startup Support. Burkina Faso must move with the modern world. President Traoré believes technology can help solve local problems. He launched the Digital Startups Program to support youth with great ideas in mobile apps, online shops, educational games, digital farming tools. He gave grants and office spaces to top tech innovators. A group of students from Ouaga created an app that connects farmers to buyers. Another group created an app for tracking health in rural clinics. These startups are creating jobs, solving problems, and giving Burkina Faso a place in the digital world. By now, it is clear that President Ibrahim Traoré is not an ordinary leader. He is not just building roads and hospitals. He is building a new Burkina Faso, one that can stand tall, live free, and shine across Africa. In this final chapter, we will explore 6 powerful projects, 25 to 30, that show how Burkina Faso is now taking control of its wealth, celebrating its identity, and joining hands with other African nations. These final projects are about sovereignty, pride, unity, and vision for the future. Project 25, National Gold Refinery and Mineral Control Project. Burkina Faso is rich in gold. In fact, it is one of the top gold producers in Africa. But for many years, raw gold was sent outside the country to be refined. Foreign companies took the biggest share, and the country made little money. President Traoré said, "We must no longer export our riches and import poverty." He launched the National Gold Refinery Project. The government is building a modern refinery plant that processes and purifies gold inside Burkina Faso, creates certified gold bars, allows local sale and export by Burkinabe hands. This means more jobs, more money, and more control over the country's most valuable resource. He also passed a law that all mining companies must sell part of their gold to the government at fair rates. Now Burkina Faso is keeping more wealth inside instead of giving it away. Project 26, Burkina Faso Diaspora Investment Program. Millions of Burkinabe live outside the country, in France, the USA, Canada, Côte d'Ivoire, and other countries. Many want to invest in their homeland, but don't know how. President Traoré launched the Diaspora Investment Program to bring them back, not physically, but economically. This program helps Burkinabe abroad invest in housing, schools, farms, and businesses, offers tax discounts and legal protection, supports dual citizenship and property rights, provides online platforms for smooth investment and updates. Now many Burkinabe living abroad are buying land, building schools, starting shops, and working together to develop villages. A man in France who built a clinic in Yako said, "Thanks to this program, I'm building a future for my people back home. I feel proud again." Project 27, African Trade Alliance and Regional Cooperation. Burkina Faso cannot grow alone. President Traoré understands this well. That is why he helped create a strong friendship between Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Together they formed the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, a new regional group with bold goals. Trade goods directly between each other, food, fuel, and goods. Share electricity and farming tools. Protect each other through joint security. Build common roads and rail lines. They also reduced dependence on foreign institutions that often controlled African economies with debt and pressure. Today, the AES is growing stronger. People are calling it the new voice of Africa, where neighbors help neighbors without waiting for outsiders. Project 28, National History, Arts, and Culture Program. Burkina Faso is rich in culture, music, stories, and traditional values. But many young people are forgetting their roots. Foreign media has taken over. Local languages are disappearing. Traoré started the National Cultural Promotion Project to bring back national pride. This includes building cultural centers in each region, supporting local music, dance, film, and storytelling, broadcasting Burkinabe movies and folktales on national TV, adding history, culture, and traditional languages to school lessons, supporting local authors and village historians. He also declared a National Cultural Month where students wear traditional clothes, learn their mother tongues, and celebrate village life. One teacher in Banfora said, "My students now speak their local language with pride. They are no longer ashamed." Project 29, National Media and Communication Reform. In the past, Burkina Faso's national media was weak. News was often censored, unverified, or poorly presented. Foreign channels had more power than local ones. President Traoré created a new path. He reformed the national media system by strengthening Burkina Faso National Television, RTB, with better tools and content, opening new community radio stations in rural areas, training young journalists in honest, fact-based reporting, sharing real-time updates from the government through social media and press centers. Today, Burkinabe people are better informed. The government also listens to the people through feedback programs. The media now tells stories of progress, not just pain. Project 30, Leadership and Patriotism, Education in Schools. Traoré believes that the best way to protect the future is to prepare the young. He introduced a new school subject called civic duty and patriotism into public education. Children are taught to love and defend their country, to be honest and hardworking, to serve the community, to respect others, including elders in different cultures, to avoid drugs, violence, and corruption. Every Friday, students sing the national anthem and discuss how to make Burkina Faso better. This is not just a school subject, it is a movement. One teacher said, "My students now talk about building Burkina Faso instead of leaving it." Conclusion: Burkina Faso has risen. In just a short time with limited resources but big courage, President Ibrahim Traoré and the people of Burkina Faso have started 30 bold and meaningful development projects. These projects are not fake promises. They are visible, active, and life-changing. They touch every part of life: jobs, health, water, food, electricity, education, security, trade, culture, pride. Burkina Faso may still have challenges, but it now has something more powerful: hope, action, and a leader who believes in the people. As President Traoré often says, "We will build our nation with our own hands. If we stand together, we cannot fall."